Let's begin. Today's daf is Tes Zayin. We are picking up on Tes Zayin. I am confident that everyone did their homework. So we are picking up in Meretz Hashem. We are picking up on Hechi Dami. Tes Zayin with Aleph 16a, third line, third of the wide lines in. Hechi Dami, Hey Me'ilas. So we'll say the Gemara said as follows. Remember again, it's really Hey Tamchuyin. Before we begin, I'm sorry, our sponsors for this morning's shir, to thank Yonason and Rachel Wolf from Highland Park, New Jersey, for dedicating the shiurim this month in memory of Rachel's mother, Chaya Bas Moshe Zichron Livracha. We hope that in the merit of our Talmud Torah, that Hashem will have an aliyah and the family a nechama. And to thank Bennett Goldberg, our Talmud Torah sponsor for the month of Elul, for dedicating all of his shiurim in Josh's memory of his parents, Avram ben Asher Pinchas, Vega, Rezel, Bas, Zelig, and we hope that in the merit of our Talmud Torah, Hashem will have an aliyah and the family in nechama. Good. So says the Gemara. Hechi Dami. Hey, if you look, by the way, in the Hagos V'Tziyunim, they changed it to Hey Tamchuyin. So if you remember again, the Mishnah spoke about the possibility of multiple liabilities for food that originates from the same source of Isser, but yet is prepared with what the Mishnah called the Hey Tamchuyin. Tamchuyin literally means dishes. So what does that mean? Amar Shmuel ka'osa sheshaninu chamisha dvarim ba'olam mitztarfin habasar v'achelev v'hayayin v'hasoles v'hashemen. So this is actually quite interesting. This is specifically talking about the halacha of shchutei chutz. In order to go ahead and be chayiv for offering something up outside of the Beis Hamikdash, you have to offer up a kezayis of sacrificial material. So now the Gemara says over here that halacha l'maisa, different aspects of the carbon can combine to form that kezayis. So basar, flesh, chele, forbidden fats, yayin, wine, solis, fine flour, shemen, oil, can all combine together to form the kezayis of Isser of Shchutei Chutz. So that's lashon of Chamisha Tamchuyin. Those 5 different things can combine. Next, Chizkiya Amar, Kigon Sha'achal Mehei Varim. Chizkiya says, for example, would be that halacha l'maaseh, if a person ate from 5 different limbs from the same prohibited substance. So halacha l'maaseh, again, 5 different limbs could create 5 different liabilities. Rish Lakish Amar, Afilu Tema Be'ever Echad, Mishkachas La Bekasif. Rish Lakish says the truth is, even in one limb, for example, I will say the way the shoulder is structured, the shoulder itself has 5 different parts. So 5 times chuyim could be 5 different limbs, but it really means 5 different parts of the same limb, i.e. the shoulder. Rabbi Yitzchak Naf Chamar Kigon Sha'achal Ba Hey Behei Mine Kedera. But it's actually very interesting. So now he says over here, where halacha l'maaseh, you took the carbon, part of the sacrificial, part of the prohibited item, and you cooked it in 5 different dishes. Rashi says over here, Hemine Kedera, Kigon Krishim, Ubitzalim, Ukruvu Dolas. In other words, you prepared the prohibited substance in 5 different ways. Preparing it in 5 different ways can generate 5 different isurim. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Kigon Sha'achal Ba Behei Tamim. Rabbi Yochanan says, for example, you took the 5 different pieces of meat, again from the same prohibited source. You prepared it with 5 different types of spices. That creates 5 different prohibitions. So both sides, these are all just different opinions. Bottom line, what's happening over here is it's the same piece of Isser that's being somehow prepared in 5 different ways. So the novelty is 5 different ways, preparing it in 5 different ways can, at least according to one opinion, go ahead and generate 5 distinct Isurim. They're both saying there is an important halacha that comes out of this. The Rambam in Hilchos Maaseh Karbanos writes as follows. He does say, Chelba ubisara v'salta ushmana v'yayin isacha'a chamishtan mitztarfen l'kezayis. So I'll say, interestingly enough, the Gemara does explain over here, the Rambam Paskins, that based on this, for halachos of shchutei chutz, in terms of, remember again, if you offer up a carbon outside of the Beis Hamikdash, you are chayiv. How much of a carbon do you have to offer up? At least the kezayis. What counts towards that kezayis? So the Rambam Paskins in Hilchos Maaseh Karbanos, all different parts of the carbon count towards that kezayis. Not just the flesh, but even the meat, the soles, the shemen, the yayin, all count towards the kezayis of shchutei chutz. Beautiful. Says the Mishnah. Am Rabbi Akiva, Sha'alti es Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Akiva says, once I asked these all the shots of Rabbi Akiva, I once asked Rabbi Eliezer about the following situation. We'll say a fascinating shaila, and we're going to talk about this, we're going to develop this idea in the coming sugya. What happens, right now we'll just literally translate the words. We'll have to see what the exact case is as we get into the Gemara. But listen to this. A person performs, let's just do the straight translation, many malachos on many Shabbosos. So osim malachos, harbe many malachos, on Shabbosos, many Shabbosos, me'in malacha achas. Then we'll say now, me'in malacha achas sounds like what? I'm performing many malachos that are all part of the same source malacha, which sounds like, what am I doing? One av malacha with multiple toldos. Remember again, we spoke about this when it comes to Hilchos Shabbos. You have an av malacha, which is like a primary malacha, and you have derivative malachos, which are called the toldos. So what seems to be happening over here is, I am performing one av with many toldos over the course of multiple Shabbosos. Look at Rashi for just a moment. B'Shabbosos harbe. Osan sha'asa b'Shabbos zu asa b'Shabbosos achrini. V'kulan behelam achas. Now both say, now the case over here actually is, I'm performing the same av and toldos over multiple Shabbosos, but it's one helam. It's one helam, which means we'll say, sounds like over here that what's occurring is, I forgot, well, we'll see what's occurring. I've forgotten about Shabbos, I've forgotten about the malachos, and this lapse spans weeks. This lapse spans weeks. So what's the halacha? Mao chayiv achas al kulan. Am I chayiv once for all of the malachos? Because we'll say at the end of the day, what? It's one lapse. It's one halam. Oh chayiv al kol achas v'achas. Or am I chayiv for each and every individual infraction? So we'll say this is Rabbi Akiva Shai to Rabbi Eliezer. Amar lo. Rabbi Eliezer responds, chayiv al kol achas v'achas. Well, it says you're chayiv for every single malacha. Why? Mikav chomer. I'll make a kav chomer. What's the kav chomer? Uman nida shein bo totzas harbe v'chatos harbe chayav al kol achos v'achos. Because we'll say, going back to the case of nida. What was the case of nida? A man has relations with 5 women who are nidos. What's the halacha? Chayav al kol achos v'achos. Now, both say when it comes to nida, there's really like only one form of isser, right? There's not many. What's the word? Variations, right? There's not many variations of the Isra of Nida, meaning, what's the Isra of Nida? To have Bia with a Nida. That's kind of it. So Rashi says, where Totzas Harbe, in Yonan Harbe Kagon Shabbos, Tika Avos Mulachos all the same. But we'll say, by Nida, where there's no real primary or derivative or variations of the Malacha, yet you're Chayiv for every single Isra. Shabbos Sheyesh Pa Totzas Harbe, Umisos Harbe, Eino Din Shei Chayiv Al Kolachas V'achas. But say, yet Shabbos is different. Shabbos, there are so many variations, so many distinctions. Certainly you should be chayiv for every single malacha. So Rabbi Akiva says, Amarti lo. Rabbi Akiva says, Rabbi Eliezer, I don't think that argument really makes all that much sense. Em amarta benida sheyesh ba shte asharas, shehu musar lanida, vanida musaras halav, tomar b'Shabbos she'in ba ela azhara achas. I don't know if you could compare nida and Shabbos. Why? I will say by nida, it's really a 2-dimensional isser. What's the 2-dimensional isser? The man has his isser, the woman has her isser. By Shabbos, it's a one-sided isser, right? I'm chayiv for Shabbos, so to speak. Shabbos is not chayiv for me. Amrali, so to which Rabbi Eliezer responded, Haba ala kitanos yochiach. So what about if a man has relations with a ketana who is a nida? So you could have a situation, ultimately again, of a ketana who's a nida. We'll discuss this. So yochiach she'im ba'el azhara achas v'chayiv al kol achas achas. So we'll say if a man has relations with multiple ketanos who are nidos. So remember again, both say he is chayiv for every single act. She is not chayeves. Why is she not chayeves? She's a ketana. Amarti los. Rabbi Akiva said, I said back to him, Amarta b'ketano sha'af pishin behind achshav yesh achar zman. Rabbi Akiva, it's not a good raya. Even if the ketana is currently ptura, ultimately again she will be subject to the halachos of Isser as well. Tomar b'Shabbos she'im ba'achshav v'lo la'achar zman. Shabbos, on the other hand, is a one-dimensional. I'm using it. It's not one-dimensional is the wrong word. A one-sided isser. A one-sided isser. So both say this is very interesting. So essentially, remember what's happening over here is as follows. Rabbi Akiva is asking, I performed multiple avos and toldos over the course of multiple Shabbosos in one lapse of awareness. What am I chayiv? What am I chayiv? To which Rabbi Eliezer responds, I think you're chayiv for every single malacha. Why? He's bringing the raya from Nida. Just like Nida, man has relations with 5 women who are Nidos. It's the same Isser 5 times. He's chayiv all 5 times. You do multiple malachos, you're chayiv for every single malacha. To which Rabbi Akiva responds, I just don't think it's a good, I hear what you're saying, I don't think it's a good comparison. By Nida, essentially again, there are 2 people who are both engaging in a Ma'aseh Isser. By Shabbos, there's only one person engaging in a Ma'aseh Isser. So all Rabbi Akiva is saying is, I just don't think the comparison is correct. To which Rabbi Eliezer responds, Amar li haba'a behema yochiach. To which Rabbi Eliezer responds, fine. What about the case of a person who has relations with an animal? So we'll say if a person, look at Rashi, second wide line in Rashi, so we'll say ultimately, again, remember what's the halacha? If you have bia with multiple behemoths, you're chayiv for every single act. Now, the truth is, this is a one-sided prohibition, right? Now, remember again, interestingly enough, I will say, what's the status of the behemoth in the case of bestiality? Now, the behemoth is killed. Now, the behemoth is not killed because the behemoth is culpable. Remember again, why is the behemoth killed? We'll say that's out of derech eres to the adam, right? Because what's going to happen if you leave that behemoth alive? People are going to say, you see that behemoth over there? That's Ruvain's friend, right? You know that's we don't want that. That's out the covet of Ruvain. Amazingly enough, Ruvain is mamish, like we'll say, bestiality is bottom of the barrel, right? So remember again, even for that guy, chasa Torah al kivodo. So says Rabbi Eliezer to Rabbi Akiva, what about ba behema? Person has relations with 5 behemoths, chayiv 5 different times. Oh, that's a one-sided prohibition. So Rabbi Eliezer won't say just like you chayiv for behema, you'll be chayiv for every single malacha by Shabbos. To which the Gemara says, Amarti lo. Rabbi Akiva says, ha behema b'Shabbos. Good one, Rabbi Eliezer. Right? The behemoth is just like Shabbos, good, and therefore just like you're chayiv for every single behemoth, you'll be chayiv for every single malacha. Look at Rashi. Behemoth ki Shabbos plukti b'Gemara ikalamandar kiba Rabbi Yisrael. So fine. We'll see. Rashi brings out. We'll see exactly what Rabbi Akiva is saying. Good. Says the Gemara. My kabay minay. So we'll say, let's go back to Rabbi Akiva's original question. What is the nature of Rabbi Akiva's shayla? Remember, what did Rabbi Akiva say? Sounds like what Rabbi Akiva is saying is, I violated multiple, truth is, what's his lashon? Malachos harbe b'shabbasos harbe. I violated multiple malachos. Now Rashi said, multiple malachos means really either one malacha, multiple todos, multiple malachos, multiple todos, over the course of multiple shabbosos in one helam. So it says the Gemara, let's kind of crystallize the question. My kabay minay. Ishabasos kigufin damyon v'ilo baymine. So I'll say, so what's Rabbi Akiva's core question? Perhaps his core question is, are Shabbosos reckoned like gufin michulakin? In other words, is each Shabbos counted like its own entity? Is that his question? V'ilo baymine nibaya osimulacha achas b'Shabbosos harbe. So we'll say, if that's the case, if Rabbi Akiva's core question is, do we look at independent Shabbosos, like independent bodies? Then the truth is you don't have to get into multiple malachos. Let it just be what? Let it just be malacha achas b'Shabbosos harbe. Let it be that he performed the same malacha every Shabbos for multiple Shabbosos. And then what's the fundamental shayla, Rabbi? So what's the fundamental shayla? What's the fundamental shayla? Is each Shabbos its own entity? Or because this is all happening in one halam, it's one big blur of Isser, right? If that's my question, I don't have to, I'll say the point the Gemara is making is, you don't have to illustrate that question with multiple malachos. It's the same question if it's one malacha. I perform kitsira. I do kotzer 5 Shabbosos in a row. 5 Shabbosos in a row. So am I chayiv 5 times? Am I chayiv 1 time? Do I look at one ha'elam of Shabbos, of 5 Shabbosos, as one ha'elam, one act, or do I look at each Shabbos as its own independent entity? So the Gemara says, Ella vlade malachos ika avos damyon v'ilo b'mine. Or are we asking the following question? Are we asking Abose that when it comes to avos and toldos, if I perform an av and I perform the tolda, vlade malachos ika avos damyon v'ilo b'mine? Or Abose is my question is, if I perform an av and a tolda, is that considered to be one act, or is that considered to be 2 acts? So Rabbi say, if that's the case, if that's the case, Rabbi say, if that's my question, then what? Forget about multiple Shabbosos. I have an easier question. What's the question? Or how do I set up the case? I performed an Av and multiple Todos on one Shabbos. Now my Shaila is, am I Chayev once, or am I chayev multiple times? So both say, see what the Gemara is asking? Rabbi Akiva, what's your shaila? Is your shaila about Shabbos, about the essence of Shabbos, that multiple Shabbosos, are they like individual entities, or one entity, since all this is happening in Helam Echad? Or is your shaila on avos and toldos? Is your shaila is if you violate an av and a tolda, is that one violation or multiple violations? So says the Gemara, Amar Rava, Amri Beirav, Tarti Baimine. Oh, in fact, Rabbi Akiva is asking both of those shailas. Shabbosos kegufin damyon. Both say, are independent Shabbosos considered to be independent entities? So the Gemara says, Tarti Baimine. Shabbosos kegufin damyon v'ilo. Question number 1, Rabbi say, is each independent Shabbos considered to be separate entities or one entity? That's that. And Rabbi say, remember again, we're speaking about where there is one prolonged lapse of awareness. Can you imagine this? I have a month-long lapse of awareness. Rabbi say, we can imagine this because people have 120-year lapse of awareness, right? People go through life and they go, oh, I didn't know that. I don't mean with halacha. I just mean like with life accomplishment, with things I should be doing. So to have a lapse of awareness, halavai, my lapse of life awareness should only last a month, right? So we'll say, shaila number 1 is if I have a lapse of awareness over the course of a month and I violate Shabbos multiple times, is each Shabbos considered to be its own entity? That's question number 1. And question number 2 is vlade malachos kimalachos damyon ilo, right? So we'll say ultimately again, shaila number 2 is if I violate avos and malachos, what am I chayiv for? Am I chayiv for each av and each tolda? Then I'm chayiv for each av that I know. The shaila is, am I also chayiv for each independent tolda? So it says the Gemara, Baimine, Shabbosos kegufyon damyon. So the Gemara says, I'm sorry. So Baimine, I'm sorry, Rev, so I just lost the place. So Amri Beirav, Tarti Baimine, Shabbosos kegufyon damyon v'ilo, Baimine, Vladi melachos kimlachos damyon ilo, v'Shabbosos heichi mibayle. So we'll say, what is the case of Shabbos? Shigaga Shabbos v'zadon melachos, pshitale diyamim shebein sayim havyan yedia lechalik. So we'll say, so on one hand, do we say, now this is very interesting, we'll say, Shigagas Shabbos means, I forgot that it was Shabbos. So my shkaga is about I forgot that it's Shabbos. Zodon malachos. Zodon malachos means what? I know that the malachos are asr. So I know the malachos are asr. My mistake is that what? I didn't realize it's Shabbos. I thought it's Tuesday. That's called Shigaga Shabbos. Zodon malachos. So pshita diyamim shebein sayim Havyan Yedia Lechalik. So we'll say in the case of Shigagas Shabbos, Zadon Malachos, the intervening days. What are the intervening days? Sunday through Friday certainly serve to go ahead and distinguish between Shabbos and Shabbos, and therefore each Shabbos will generate its own independent liability. Zadon Shabbos, Vishigagas Malachos, Hu Debai Minei. So where is Rabbi Akiva Shaila? In the case of Zadon Shabbos, so I will say Zadon Shabbos means Zadon Shabbos says, I know it's Shabbos. I know today is Shabbos. Shigigas Malachos means, I didn't know that this particular Malacha was Asr. That's the case. That's Rabbi Akiva's core question. So what's his question? I kegufin, I damyon, I lo. It's Rabbi Akiva's shaila in that case, is, I know that it's Shabbos. I made a mistake about the Malacha. And this happens to me week after week after week. So the shaila is, Do we say that each Shabbos is its own independent entity, and therefore I'm chayiv for every single malacha, or not? O Dilma, the other possibility is Zadon Shabbos v'shigagas malachos pshitale. The other possibility I will say is that vis-a-vis Rabbi Akiva, he holds Zadon Shabbos shigas malachos. It's obvious that kiguf and damyon. I will say that if I know for sure it's Shabbos, but my mistake is regarding the malacha, every Shabbos is reckoned separately, and there will be independent liability for each and every Shabbos. So what's my shaila? Shigagas Shabbos v'zadon malachos hu debayminei. Rabbi Akiva shaila is in a case where I forget that it's Shabbos, but I know that the malachos are aser. The yamim shebein sayim havin yediyah lechalek ilo. Do the intervening days serve to create independent Shabbos identities or not? That's the fundamental shaila of Rabbi Akiva. Amar Rava, so Rava says, I will say Amar Beis, Amar Rava, mistabra shigigas Shabbos v'zadon malachos pshitale. I will say, just to understand, by the way, just to understand how shaykh this sugya is, you know, when Mashiach comes, we're going to have to bring our karbanos, right? They will say, by the way, it's incredible. Just a little tip, business tip. This is free. I will say, can you imagine if you get into livestock now? When Mashiach comes, what's going to happen to livestock prices, right? We're going to have, like we saw before, like the Mishnah, right? About who is it? Rabbi Gamliel, who went ahead and it wasn't Rabbi Gamliel, Shimon Gamliel, who went ahead and caused the prices of birds to come down. But can you imagine the backlog, right? The price of animals, of livestock is going to skyrocket because there's going to be such a backlog of karbanos. But I will say, but imagine this following situation. It could very well happen that a person realizes, I was doing something asur on Shabbos all of this time. I didn't realize it. Chas v'shalom, not maliciously. I didn't know the halacha. And Shabbos after Shabbos after Shabbos. That's called Zadon Shabbos Shigigas Malacha. Right? Where again, I knew it was Shabbos. I didn't know this was Asr. I had no idea this was Asr. So both say, so listen to this. So Rabbi Akiva's shaila is Zadon Shabbos Shigigas Malacha. Actually, I'm sorry. This is Rabbah. Rabbah says Mistabra Shigigas Shabbos v'Zadon Malachos. I'm sorry. So the wrong case over here. So Rabbah says in a case of Shigigas Shabbos, where again I made a mistake. I forgot that it's Shabbos. Zadon Malachos. I know the Malachas Asar. Pshitale diyam shebein sayin havin yediyah lechalik. So Rabbah says it's pashit that in this case each Shabbos is reckoned independently. Why? Because the days in between each independent Shabbos ultimately create Shabbos as its own independent identity. Therefore, halacha l'maisa I'm chayiv for every malacha from each Shabbos. V'zadon Shabbos v'shigagas malachos u'debayminei. What's Rabbi Akiva's shaila? Rabbi Akiva's shaila says in a case of Zadon Shabbos, where I know that it's Shabbos and shigagas malachos, but I made a mistake about the malachos. That's Rabbi Akiva's shaila. Kiguf and damyon olo. Rabbi Akiva's shaila is about saying in that case is each Shabbos looked at independently, and therefore I'm chayiv for the inadvertent violation of Shabbos, each and every Shabbos, or not. Upashit lay, and ultimately again about say in the Mishnah, Rabbi, who was answering Rabbi Akiva, it was Rabbi Eliezer, keeps answering him. Upashit lay, the Zadon Shabbos v'shigigas malachos kiguf and damyon. Ultimately, again, to which Rabbi Eliezer keeps responding, that's what? Rabbi Akiva, I think the halacha is that when a person knows that it's Shabbos, that's called Zadon Shabbos. I know that it's Shabbos, but my mistake is vis-a-vis the malachas, that the halacha is kiguf and damyon, that each Shabbos is reckoned independently, and therefore what? I'm chayiv for the malachos committed on every single Shabbos. V'lo kibal minei. But Rabbi Akiva did not accept this answer. Upashit lei, but he holds that it's pashit, that's what? Devlade melachos kimlachos damyan. And ultimately, again, that's what? That toldos are just like avos. V'lo kibal minei. And ultimately, again, Rabbi Akiva did not accept that reality as well. Amar Rabba, so Rabba said, Mina Aminallah, from where do I know this? This not, here we go. Klal Gadol Amru b'Shabbos. They said a great, Rabba said, this, by the way, if we have a little bit of time, we're going to come back and focus on this because this is incredible. A Klal Gadol, they said by Shabbos. So we'll say, incredible. Kala shochiach ikar Shabbos, va'osa melachos harbe b'Shabbosos harbe, eino chayiv ela achos. We'll say, what does this mean? This is wild. Whoever is shochiach ikar Shabbos. So I want to be clear. What does it mean to be shochiach ikar Shabbos? Shochiach ikar Shabbos means I don't know about Shabbos. So we'll say, remember, the cases we've been dealing with until now, when we say Shigagas Shabbos, what's Shigagas Shabbos? What's Shigagas Shabbos? I forgot that today is Shabbos. I know about Shabbos, but I got mixed up. I thought today's Tuesday. I know about Shabbos. This year we'll say something different. This is Kol HaShocheach Iker Shabbos. Iker Shabbos means I will say, I don't know about... It's hard to say I forgot about Shabbos, even though Shocheach means I forgot. I don't know about Shabbos. I don't know about Shabbos. So what's the halacha? And we'll say, so, Pabashas, if I don't know about Shabbos, then what? Then I am committing many Yisurim over the course of a lifetime. What's the halacha? Enu chayiv al achos. We'll say only chayiv once. You chayiv once. Hayodeh Iker Shabbos. Va'osim malachas harbe Shabbos harbe. We'll say if somebody knows about Shabbos, so Yodeh Iker Shabbos means I know about Shabbos. But again, I forget. So, and what? And I do many malachos over the course of many Shabbosos. Chayiv al kol Shabbos b'Shabbos. I am chayiv ultimately again for the infractions of each and every Shabbos. Hayodeh shu Shabbos va'osim malachos harbe b'Shabbosos harbe. I know that it's Shabbos. And I do many malachos over the course of many Shabbosos. Chayiv al kol av melacha umelacha. I'm chayiv ultimately again for every single av melacha. Yet, what do you see over here? I'll say this is an incredible statement. V'ilu chayiv al kol av melacha shel kol Shabbos v'Shabbos lo katani. But let's say, see, it says chayiv al kol av melacha, which can be read as what? I'm chayiv once for every av malacha committed over all of those Shabbosos. But it doesn't say that I'm chayiv for what? Every av malacha on every single Shabbos. So money, whose opinion does this reflect? So money, Ilema Rabbi Eliezer. So if you want to say Rabbi Eliezer Shita, Ema Seifa, Ha'os malachos harbe me'im malacha achos. If a person goes ahead and commits malachos harbe me'im malacha achos. Now we'll say, what does that mean? Malachos harbi me'in malacha achos. That's avos and toldos, right? So if I committed, remember again, an av is the primary category of malacha. The tolda is any derivative of that. So if I committed many malachos, so if I committed many toldos together with the avos, what's the halacha? Se'ein chayiv ela achos. So the Brisa said I'm only chayiv once. So if you commit an av with its toldos, you're only chayiv once. V'i Rabbi Eliezer, and if it's Rabbi Eliezer, he holds chayiv al kol v'ladei malachos ki malachos. Rabbi Eliezer is of the opinion that what? That halacha l'maisa, if you commit an av with its toldos, you are what? Chayiv for every single av and every single tolda. So it can't be Rabbi Eliezer. So elapshita Rabbi Akiva. So this brisa must reflect the view of Rabbi Akiva. Ushma mina, listen to this, and therefore we could derive from here that what? Shigigas Shabbos v'zadon malachos pshitale diyamim shebein sayin havin yedia lechalek. So we'll say it seems to be clear that what? That when it's Shigigas Shabbos, remember, let's be clear on the cases. Shigigas Shabbos means what? Means what? I forgot today was Shabbos, but I know malachos are aser. So I'm doing the malachos, but that's because I didn't think it was Shabbos. But had I known that it was Shabbos, I would know that these malachos are aser. What's the halacha? Shigigas Shabbos v'zadam malachos, pshitale the yamim shebein sayin having yediyah. Therefore, I will say, the knowledge of Shabbos and the intervening days makes each Shabbos into his own independent identity, and therefore I'm going to be into each independent guf, and therefore I'm going to be chayiv for the violations of every single Shabbos. Uzedon Shabbos v'shigigas malachos hu debai. And Rabbi Akiva is therefore core questions. I will say shigigas Shabbos zadon malachos. I'm chayiv for every single Shabbos. Chayiv for every single Shabbos. What was Rabbi Akiva's shaila? His shaila was Zodon Shabbos, Shigigas Malachos Hu Debai. His shaila was in a case of where, I will say, I know Zodon Shabbos, I know that it's Shabbos, Shigigas Malachos. My mistake is vis-a-vis the Malachos of Shabbos. I didn't realize that this was Aser. Ike Gufin Damyon. So we'll say in a case like that, so we'll say, so remember again, this is actually I think it's the easiest case to illustrate. What's Zadon Shabbos Shiggas Malacha? I know it's Shabbos. I know that it's Shabbos. I didn't know, for example, that picking an apple off the tree is Aser. So we'll say it happens to be every Shabbos I love fresh apples, right? Fresh apples. During the Haftorah, for me, a fresh apple, right? That's It's a joke. Okay, right? Listen, I know nobody laughed at that. Incredible, such tzaddikim. No one got the reference. Good. So what happens? I love doing that. So I do it every single Shabbos. I know that it's Shabbos. Shigigas malachos. I did not know that malacha of kitzira is aser. So what's Rabbi Akiva Shaila? What's Rabbi Akiva Shaila say? 2 months after doing this, I go to a Shabbos, I realize Ketzira is Aser. I've been doing Ketzira every single Shabbos. What's the Shaila? Am I chayiv once or am I chayiv 5 times? So says the Gemara that Zodon Shabbos Shegas Malachos Udebai Ik Gufyan Damyon. So is each Shabbos looked at individually or is it looked at as one blur of Shabbos? Upashet like kidika gufin damin, and ultimately again Rabbi Eliezer demonstrates Rabbi Akiva that what each Shabbos is indeed by Zadon Shabbos Shigas Malacha. Each Shabbos is reckoned independently, and you're chayav for each and every act of Ketzira. V'lodei malachos ki malachos damyon. So we'll say ultimately. Furthermore, he said that toldos are treated like avos. V'tarvayu lo kibal mine. But it's possible that Rabbi Akiva ultimately did not accept either of these responses from Rabbi Eliezer. So Rabbi Eliezer posits that halacha l'maisa Shabbos Zadon Shabbos Shigas Malacha. Each Shabbos is treated independently, and toldos are treated like avos in terms of their liability, and Rabbi Akiva did not accept either of these approaches. Amarli Abaye, Liolam Emelacha Zadon Shabbos Shigas Malachos Pshit Rabbi Akiva the Shabbosos Lav Kigufin Damyon. So we'll say Abaye has a different approach. He says in the case of Zadon Shabbos and Shigas Malachos, I know that it's Shabbos. I made a mistake vis-a-vis the Malachos. That Rabbi Akiva holds Lav Kigufin Damyon, which means what? The Shabbosos are not looked at as independent entities, but rather again, it's looked at as one big Shabbos, one lapse of awareness, and therefore you're only going to be chayiv once. V'shigigas Shabbos v'zadon malachos u'debaymine, and Rabbi Akiva's shayla is in the case of shigigas Shabbos as zadon malachos. Right? I made a mistake vis-a-vis Shabbos. In other words, I said I forgot that it was Shabbos, but I know the halachos of Shabbos, so I know the malachos are also just made a mistake vis-a-vis Shabbos. That's Rabbi Akiva's shayla. Rabbi Akiva's shayla is: do we look at each Shabbos as an independent entity or not? Upashit to which Rabbi Eliezer responds, that ultimately again in a case of Shigiga Shabbos and Zadon Malachos, that ultimately again each Shabbos is looked at independently. And in this, according to this version, according to Abaye's version, Rabbi Akiva accepted the answer of Rabbi Eliezer. Pashet lei v'ladei malachos ki malachos damyon. But then Rabbi Eliezer went on and said that ultimately again toldos are just like avos v'lo kibel minei. But ultimately again Rabbi Akiva did not accept that answer. Rav Chisda has a different approach. Rav Chisda says Zadon Shabbos v'shigigas malachos. In the case of Osav, where I know it's Shabbos, but my mistake is vis-a-vis the malachos. Afilu Rabbi Akiva srilei dikigufin damyon. Even Rabbi Akiva will agree that what each Shabbos is reckoned as its own independent entity, and therefore I'm chai for the malachos performed on each Shabbos. V'chi boiminei. What's the shayla? Shigigas Shabbos v'zadon malachos hu deboiminei. And Rabbi Akiva's shayla is what? Or I should say Rabbi Akiva's question is Shigigas Shabbos, meaning my mistake is vis-a-vis Shabbos, v'zadon malachos, intentional violation of the malachos. So Rabbi Akiva's shayla is: are the intervening days, are they considered to break Shabbos up into independent entities or not? Upashit to which Rabbi Eliezer responded, Yamim shebein saim havyan yadia lechalik. Ultimately, again, the intervening days are considered to be as if they make each Shabbos into an independent entity. The Kalamine, and Rabbi Akiva accepted this. Upashit le divlade malachos ki malachos damyon. Rabbi Eliezer also paskin ultimately that what? That halacha l'maisa again, that toldos are like avos v'lo kibal minei. But in that case, Rabbi Akiva was not mekabelit ultimately again from Rabbi Eliezer. So we'll say, well, I'm going to pause over here for just a moment. How do we paskin in this issue? Because I will say again, so this may not have like a contemporary Hilchos Shabbos application for us, but of course, Mihir Rabbi Aminu, the base of Mikdash shall be rebuilt. So it's fascinating to see you have two different cases, right? So just we understand the cases. There's Shigigas Shabbos Zadon Malachos, which means what? Halacha l'maisa again. I made a mistake about the day, right? So interestingly enough, it's a calendrical mistake, not a Hilchos Shabbos mistake. I mixed up my calendar. I thought today's Tuesday. It's really Shabbos. but Zadon Malachos. But I know halacha lemaisa. I know Hilchos Shabbos. So I know that Ketzira is Aser. I know picking the apple off the tree is Aser. And had I known that today was Shabbos, of course I would never have done that. That's Shigigas Shabbos, Zadon Malachos. That's case one. Case two is Zadon Shabbos, Shigigas Malacha. Where what? I know today is Shabbos. It's not. I don't have. There's no calendrical issues. I know what the day is. What's my problem? I have a halachic mistake. My halachic mistake is that I did not realize that this is Aser on Shabbos. So both say, so remember again, both of those situations create liability. The shaila is not a liability shaila, right? I'm chayiv for Shabbos violation in all these cases. That's not Rabbi Akiva's shaila. What's Rabbi Akiva's shaila? Rabbi Akiva's shaila is, if this happened repeatedly in one ha'elam, does each Shabbos generate its own independent liability? Or is each Shabbos, because it happened in one ha'elam, it's all one isser? The sub-question to that is, in general, again, avos and toldos. If you violate avos and toldos, are you only chayiv once, meaning assuming you're violating one av and it's toldos, only chayiv once, or chayiv for every single av and toldos? So also listen to how the Rambam paskins. So the Rambam says this is in Hilchos Shgagos. Remember again, this is not in Hilchos Shabbos. It's not in Hilchos Shabbos in the Rambam, right? Why? Because we're talking carbonic liability now. So it's in Hilchos Shgagos. So here we go, very exciting. Perek Zayin halacha chas, very exciting. Asa malachos harbe, me'in malacha achos, bishabasos harbe. But I performed many malachos, me'in malacha achos, which means what? I performed many toldos of the same av. Same av, over and because of many shabasos. Writes the Rambam, bein bizadon Shabbos v'shegigas malachos, bein b'shegigas Shabbos v'zadon malachos. So the Rambam says ultimately again, whether it was Shigigas Malachos and Zadon Shabbos, Shigigas Malachos, what's the halacha? Chayiv al kol malacha umalacha. You are chayiv for every single malacha which has been performed. Keitzad yada shayom Shabbos zarabam v'dei yada. Okay, fine. Chayiv al kol achas v'achos. Afa pishe shehi me'im malacha achos mipnei shabasos kegufin mechulakin. So both say, so the Rambam paskins two things. Number one, you're chayiv for avos and toldos. That's number one. And number two, each Shabbos is reckoned as its own guf. And therefore what? I am chayiv for each and every Shabbos independently. Now, what about that incredible case of the Klal Gadol case, where a person is shocheach ikar Shabbos? So this is a case, remember again, so the Rambam, in the Rambam's view, again, Zadon Shabbos, Shigas Maisa, Shigas Malacha, Shigas Shabbos, Zadon Malacha, doesn't make any difference. You're chayiv al kol achas v'achas, avos and toldos, you're going to be chayiv for everything. We'll say, but listen to this, but the Rambam, this is also in Hilchos Shgagos, this is in Perek Zayin Halacha Beis. Klal Gadol Omru b'Shabbos. The Rambam Mamish adapts the lashon of the Brayso. They said a great klal by Shabbos. Kol hashocheach ikar Shabbos v'shachach shenitztavu Yisrael ala Shabbos. Right. So again, person Mamish forgets Shabbos, which means he forgets that there's a mitzvah of Shabbos. O shenishba v'hu katan lebeina akum. Right? O nisgayer katan v'hu beina akum. So we'll say, so again, these cases come up. Person just didn't know about Shabbos. Afa pishu asa malachos harbe v'shabbasos harbe eino chayiv ela chatos achos. Ultimately, again, says the Rambam, even though again he spent his whole life not knowing about Shabbos, he's chayiv chatos. He is chayiv chatos, but one chatos. Why? She says shakol shigaga achasi. Because also remember again, in this case over here, this all the svar over here is this is all rooted in one fundamental shkaga. What's the one fundamental shkaga? The one fundamental shkaga? I don't know that there is Shabbos. V'chein chayiv chatas achas al kol chelev she'achal v'chatas achas al she'achal. So also says, by the way, remember, this concept is not unique to Shabbos. Any time where a person could say, I was mamish fundamentally ignorant about a concept, Now, I will say, now, by the way, this only works about a concept in totality. So, for example, I want to point out, let's say a person says, well, I didn't know that there were 39 malachas. I only thought that there were 38. So I've been violating the 39th all the time. I should only be chayiv once. That doesn't work. Why doesn't that work? Because you know there's a concept of malacha. See, the Rebbe say this concept that you're only chayiv once for a lifetime of violations is only if mamish hashochiach ikar. I didn't know the concept. So if you don't know the concept, then ultimately, again, we cap your liability at one chatos. The Rambam then goes on to explain that halacha lamaisa, it's not a din by Shabbos, it's a din by anything. Anything where you could demonstrate that you did not know the ikar, you did not know the core concept, then halacha lamaisa, you will only be chayiv one chatos, even for multiple infractions. So to stop over here, I want to share with you just a short idea on the parsha. So I will say amongst the many incredible mitzvos that we have in Parsha Shoftim, the Torah speaks about the concept of Som Tasim Alecha Melech. So the pasuk says, this is in Parak Yud Zayin, pasuk Tesvav, chapter 17, verse 15. Som Tasim Alecha Melech, Asher Yivchar Hashem Elokecha Bo Mikar Lachecha, Tasim Alecha Melech. So you shall place upon yourself a king, who HaKadosh Baruch Hu will choose from amongst your brethren. You shall put the king upon you. Tasim Alecha Melech. Lo sucha la seis alecha ish nachri, asher lo achichahu. You may not appoint a stranger as the king who is not your brother. So we'll say, so there are many aspects to this pasuk. Most notably, again, whether the monarchy is a lachatchila institution, a b'di'evet institution. Should we have a king? Should we not have a king? Is the king an accommodation because everyone else has a king, so we should have a king also? So again, much written about that. I want to draw your attention to a beautiful, simple insight made by the great tzaddik Rabbi Shai of Rapshitz. So the Rapshitz Rebbe says like this: Som tasim alecha melech. You shall place a king upon yourself. Right? So Rebbe will say, so simple yet so profound. Tasim alecha. You shall place a king upon yourself. What does that mean? Al atzmicha melech. Place upon yourself a king. Rebbe will say, who is the king on you? Who is the king on you? You. Som tasim alecha melech. Place a king upon yourself. Shete sholet al ruchacha al ma'asecha v'hisnagusecha. Place a king upon yourself who is going to regulate your ruach, your spirit, who is going to regulate your actions, who is going to regulate your conduct. See, Rabbi saying, what the Rebbe is telling us, the Kadosh Baruch Hu is giving us an incredibly nuanced message. Own your life. Som tasim alecha melech. You have to become your own king. You have to take ownership over your life. You have to take ownership over your behaviors. You have to take ownership over your decisions. You have to take ownership over your lifestyle. You have to take ownership over what does occur and what doesn't occur. Because they're both saying, you see, human beings are always the same. And sometimes the nature of a person is when things don't go well, things don't go the way we want them to go, things don't turn out the way we want them to turn out, the reflex reaction is assignment of blame. Whose fault is it? And Abba said we know that human nature is, the great part is, one thing is always clear, which is, not me. Not me, right? I could tell you who it is. Right when something goes wrong, I could tell you everyone who's responsible. By the way, I'll go in chronological order, starting with my mother, right? I'll start right, and she could have been better. She could have been better in all different ways. And my father, I don't even get started, right? And this and that, and I'll go through all of the ways in which everyone in my life is not doing their part, and that's why I'm in this mess. Says the Rav Shitzer Rebbe, Som tasim alecha melech. There is only one melech in your life. Well, there's two. I'm not talking about Kadosh Baruch Hu. There's only one melech on your day to day, and that's you. And that's you. Own your life. Own your circumstances. Own what happens and own what doesn't happen. And I both say, although it's a little bit scary, because if I have to be the melech over my life, you know what that means? When things go wrong, the buck stops with me. I made the mistakes. But here's the incredible part. You know, Rabbi Nachman says so beautifully. Im ta'amin she'ata yachol lishaber, ta'amin she'ata yachol litakein. If you believe that you have the ability to destroy, believe that you have the ability to build. That says the Rebbe. That's som tasim alecha melech. If you have the authority, you have the ability to make major and huge mistakes, then believe that you have the ability to be metakin and to rebuild things as well. Sometimes there's this desire to assign blame because at the end of the day it hurts too much to take responsibility. But when you assign blame for whatever it is, you fill in the blank, the nature of your mishpacha, the nature of your life, the nature of your ruchnius, where your career is, whatever you want to, we've assigned blame for all different kinds of things. You're yielding the reins to someone else. If it's someone else did this, that means it's only someone else who could fix it. But if I take ownership, som tasim alecha melech, I am the melech over my life. I am the melech over my circumstances. Then as painful as it is to admit that I broke it, if I'm the melech, I also have the ability to fix it. And Rabbi say in Chodesh Elul, I often find Chodesh Elul is on one hand a time of incredible simcha. It really is incredible. I spoke about this last Shabbos. Sometimes you have a flawed conception of Elul that is like scary and overwhelming and terrible. Elul is so much simcha. The melech is basad, as the Baal HaTanya writes. There's unparalleled access to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this month, even different than Tishrei. And I will say, but it's a time of a lot of awareness, and it's a time when I realized that a lot of the things that I promised myself that I was going to do this past year, I have not done. And a lot of the promises that I made to myself, I have not lived up to. And in that moment when I have that akara, the Yitzhahara to assign blame sets in. Resist it. Fight it. There's still a couple of weeks left to the year. Yesh kana olam b'shah achas. If a person can acquire their world in a moment, can you imagine what you could do in a couple of weeks? It's painful to sometimes have to take ownership of my life. But it might be a little bit painful in the beginning, but it's the greatest gift after you get over the initial pain. Because as the Rebbe says, if you broke it, you could also fix it. Som tasim alecha melech. Rabbi say, may we have the courage to stop blaming others for our failures, our shortcomings, and our underperformance. Take the reins of life. Recognize that you are the king in your palace. You are the king over your life. Only you control, as the Rebbe says, your ruach, your maisim, and your nihug. May we be zocheh Amirat Hashem to lift up the scepter of control. May we be zocheh Amirat Hashem to pick up the reins of our life. Fix that which needs to be fixed. Take ownership over this beautiful thing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us called life. And Amirat Hashem go on to accomplish incredible things. Shkoyach.